Hello dear friends, I'll be your math teacher for this year. السنة دي أنا هدرس لكم مادة الرياضيات للصف الخامس الابتدائي تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Our lesson today is multiplying fractions and decimal numbers. Actually, it's not a very new lesson. We are already acquainted to the terms fractions and decimals, but this year we will use them in further problems or with more usage. First, I will take multiplying fraction or decimal numbers by an integer number. Integer is a whole number. Multiplying common fractions, I will take common fractions, the terms that we are used already to, and then we will multiply them together. And also we will take multiplying decimals or decimal fractions and learn how to deal with this type of questions. For example, 54 times 2. Today I just want to remind you first with how we multiply a two-digit number by a one-digit number. So an example is 54 times 2. The important thing is to remember that I have tens in units. So in my number here, 54, the 4 is the units digit and the 5 is the tens digit. And as we learned before, I start always multiplying the one-digit number by the units digit. So here, 2 times 4 equals to 8. Then I move from this one to the other one, which is the 5. Here the 5, it's not only 5, it's 50 because it's in the tens place. So 2 times 5 is 10. So the answer is 108. Another way to write our problem, we can write it upside down or to write it on top of each other. So we put the 54 on top and then the digit that I am going to multiply by at the bottom on the right hand side. Then I start again with the units digit and then to the tens digit. So 2 times 4 gives me what? It gives me 8. And after that, I multiply the 2 times the 5 or the 50. So 2 times 5 is 10. So the answer is 108. As you can notice, the two answers are the same. The difference here is that I wrote them in different ways. The second way is a bit easier. So I prefer that you use this way. Now another example, 3 times 23, but this one is written horizontally. Horizontally يعني يعني على نفس الخط مش فوق بعض. So here again I have to remember always all the time that I have to put the tens and the units on top of every digit. So the 23 here, the 3 is the units and the 2 is the tens, and then I start to multiply the 3 by 23. I first multiply the 3 by the units digit here, which is 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. Then the 3 by the 2, which is the tens digit. So it will give me 6. The answer is 69. Now let's move to another example. بنفس الطريقة, here I have two-digit number times two-digit number. So in this case, I will also put them on top of each other. لو ما تحطش فوق بعضه هيبقى ملخبط, هيلخبطنا. ف I have to put it on top of each other, and then I have first to use the units digit and multiply it by every digit on top. ببص على الرقم اللي تحت, الunits digit 2. I have to multiply it first by ال4 مرة, then by ال3 مرة. So 2 times 4 is 8. Then 2 times 3 is 6. Now I need to multiply the 1 in the number 12 with 34. But we have to remember a very important thing in this point. This 1, it's not 1, it's 10. 12 is 10 plus 2. So I have to write a 0 I take it away from the 10 and write it under the 8. And then I multiply the one that's left for me from the number 10 by 34. يعني ال 10 اللي مع ال 12 دي اللي جوه ال 12 باخد الزيرو بتاعها وبخليه بره تحت ال 8 اللي هو اليونتس ديجيت عندي، وبعدين ال 1 اللي فاضله من ال 10 من النمبر 10 بعملها multiply النمبر اللي فوق. So 1 times 4 is 4 and 1 times 3 is 3. Then the answer will be 68 plus 340, and then I add them together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. I write the 0 and I carry up the 1 on top of the 3. Then I add the 1 to the 3. Now let's take another example. I will multiply a decimal number by an integer. So here, 2 times 2.32. I would prefer to take this example to the board. Let's come and see how to answer this question. Now we'll take some examples. First, we will start by multiplying a decimal number by an integer. Suppose that I have 3.42 times 2, and I want to multiply them by each other. The most important note about this part or this type of question is to ignore the decimal point when I start multiplying. And then, after I multiply, I will count how many decimal places I had, then I will put the decimal points afterwards. So here, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Then 2 times 3 is 6. And I want to know here how many decimal points I have in the whole question. As you see here, I have 2 decimal places, while in this one I don't have any decimal places at all. So in this case, I will put the decimal point after 2 places as I have in the problem. So I count 1, 2, then I put the decimal point. Okay. This is in case I have to multiply a decimal number by an integer. And there is another way. We can also multiply the 2 by the 2, gives me 4. 2 times 4 gives me 8. Then I bring down the decimal point. Then 2 times 3 is 6. But I told you about the first way because this is the thing that we're going to use or need when we start to multiply 2 decimal numbers by each other. So here, another example, 1.2 times 3.4. In this one, I have to forget about the decimal point. بشيل decimal point دي خالص، بعمل multiplication عادي جدا as if they are normal numbers ما فيهمش decimal point. After I finish, I will count how many decimal places I have in the whole question. Then I will put the decimal point after the number of the decimal places that I count. So I will deal with this question as if it is 12 times 34. Now, as we said before, I will write down the units and the tens. I start with the units. So I'll start by multiplying the 4 by the 2, then a 4 by 1. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. خلاص, I have finished this digit. Now I have to move to the other one, the 3. As I said before, the 3 here, it's not 3, it's 30. So to make it easy for myself to work on this number, I will take away the 0, I will write it here in the ones place as you see, and then I will take the 3 that comes in the 30 and I multiply it by the 2 digits that I have, starting with units. So 3 times 2 is 6. I will write it here under the 4 after I wrote the 0 in the units place. Then 3 times 1 is 3. Over here, I will add them together, and the answer will be 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 6 is 10. 0, and I carry up 1. Then 1 plus 3 is 4. The answer here is 408. Now I need to put back the decimal point that I already removed from my number. So here in the whole question, how many decimal places I have? In the first number, I have the 2. Here it's only 1 decimal place, only 1 digit after the decimal point. And in the other number, I have also 1 place after the decimal point. Then this gives me 2 decimal places. I start from the right hand side and I count. I have here 1, 2. Then I put the decimal point, and this is my final answer. Another example. Okay, here 2.53 and 1.4, I want to multiply them together. So again, I will write down the units, tens and hundreds digit, and I start. First, again, I will put away the decimal points and I will deal with this number as if it's a normal multiplication. So I'll take it again here, 253 times 14, and I start. Units, tens, and hundreds. First, 4 times 3 is 12, 2, and I carry up 1. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. Now 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Now I will move to the other digit, which is the 1. Again, this is not 1, this is 10. It's in the tens place. So I will put away or take the 0 and write it under the units digit. Then I have the 1 to multiply by the number on top. So 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 2 is 2, and then I add them together. 2 plus 0 is 2, 1 plus 3 is 4, 0 plus 5 is 5, 1 plus 2 is 3. So my answer is 3,542. Here, 3,542. Now, I need to count how many decimal places I have in the whole question, as we said before. So in the first number, I have 2 decimal places, as you see. And by 2 decimal places, I mean there are the places behind the decimal point. So here I have 2 decimal places, and in the other number at the bottom, I have only 1 number in 1 decimal place after the decimal point. So here I have 3 decimal places. Then I will start to count from the right hand side, 1, 2, and 3. And then I will put my decimal point. So now my answer is 3.542. Now let's go back and do the rest of our examples. Now, this is an example again. about decimal, multiplying decimal by integer. So 2 times 2.32, again, I will put them on top of each other or under each other. So 2.32, then multiply by 2. The 2 down. Here I multiplied by the units first. So 2 times 2 is 4. Then 2 times 3 is 6. Bring down the decimal point. Then 2 times 2 is 4. Another example, but this one I have two numbers. Each one of them has a decimal point. So 3.4 times 1.2. Remember what we just said? We said that in this case, I have to put them on top of each other, and then I ignore the decimal point and multiply them as if they are normal numbers or whole numbers. After that, I will count how many decimal points I have in the whole question. Then I will count these places and put my decimal point. So here, 2 times 4 is 8. Then 2 times 3 is 6. I will move now to the 1. As we said before, it's 10 and it's not 1. So I will put a 0 under the 8, and then I will multiply the 1 by the units digit, which is here 4. Then I will multiply it by the 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Then the answer will be 340. I will add the two numbers together. 8 plus 0 is 8. Then 6 plus 4 is 10. Write down the 0 and carry up the 1 on top of the 3. After that, I will add the 1 to the 3. It gives me 4. Okay? Now we will move to another example. 27.4 times 0.1. Here I have the 0.1. If I take away the decimal point, it will be only 1, because the zeros before the decimal point or on the left-hand side of the decimal point, when I take away the decimal point, they are meaningless. 0, 1, it's meaningless, while 0, 10, 1 and then 0, it's 10. So when I have no decimal point, the 0 on the left-hand side is meaningless. So here I will multiply 27.4 times 0.1, take away the point or the decimal point, it will be 274 times 1. 274 times 1 is 274. Then I count how many decimal points I have in this question. I have 1 decimal point in each number. So in total, they are 2 decimal points. Then the answer will be 2.74. The other question that comes after this, almost the same idea. Here, 16.8 times 0.01. Again, take away the decimal point. خلاص شلناها. The number that I have now, 168 without decimal point, 0.01 without a decimal point, يعني 1 only. So 168 times 1 is 168. But here I don't have 2 decimal places only. I have in the first number, which is 16.8, 1 decimal place or 1 number after the decimal point. And in 0.01, I have 2 digits after the decimal point. So here in total, I have 3 decimals, 3 numbers after the decimal point. So 168, I will count 3 decimal places. It will be 0.168. Okay, here another example, 0.001 times 2,431. Okay, here I have 3 digits after the decimal place. But again, if I take away the decimal point from this one, I will have only 1. So 1 times 2,431 is 2,431. And I have 3 digits after the decimal point. So I will count 3 places starting from the units digit, and I will put my decimal point. So I will count from the 1, then the 3, then the 4, and the decimal point will be put between the 2 and the 4. So it will be 2.431. Another example, 0.04 times 0.2. Again, remove the decimal point. I will have 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. And how many decimal places or numbers after the decimal point here? I have 3 digits after the decimal point in the whole question. So again, I will write the 8. It's just the 8. So where am I going to put the rest? There are 2 more places. I don't know what to do about them. In this case, I put zeros, and then I put my decimal point and the 0 in the whole number place because I have no whole number here. Now, this example is to remind you with the approximation that we already took last year. So first, I will multiply the decimal numbers together. After that, I will approximate them to the nearest first place, which is the 10th here, okay, 0.1. 0.91 times 0.7. Here, I will remove the decimal place, so it's 91 times 7. 7 times 1 is 7, and 7 times 9 is 63, and I have 3 digits after the decimal point. So I will count 1, 2, 3, and then I put the decimal point between the 0 and the 6, or after the 6, then I add 0. Now I want to approximate it to the nearest 10th, or the first decimal place. Here, the 10th digit here is the 6, and I have to check the next door. If the next door is strong, then it will make the 6 gain 1. But if the next door is weak, the digit stays as it is. So here, the next door is the 3. الجار اللي واقف جنبه، الجار اللي واقف جنب الهاوس اللي أنا بسأل عليه هو اللي بيساعدني. بشوف قوي هيساعدني، مش قوي مش هيعرف يساعدني. The 3 here is one of the weak next door. So the 6 will stay as it is, so it will be 0.6. Another example, 7.05 times 0.05. Again, take away the decimal point and multiply them together. The answer will be 0.3525 because here I have 4 digits after the decimal point. So the answer was 3,525, and I counted 4 places, then I put my decimal point. طيب, now I want to approximate. So here, what exactly he wants me to approximate to? He wants me to approximate to the second decimal place. So 0.01. Here my second decimal place is the 5. Again, I'll check next door, the 2. ضعيفة, cannot help me. So the number will not change. It will be 0.35 only. Now let's move to another example, or the last one of this type. 1.2 times 0.009 equals what? Take away the decimal point, 12 times 9, and I have 4 decimal places. Then it will be 108. I will count 4 decimal places starting from the right hand side. So it will be 801. Oh, I have nothing else to do. Then I will add a 0, then point, then a whole number, no whole number, it will be also a 0. Now I want to approximate to the nearest thousandth. So I will check my numbers here. My thousandth, or my third decimal place is the 0. And I check next door. Next door here is the 8. قوية, it can help. So the 8 will give the 0 1, and it will be 0.011. Now, estimate the following product, then compare to the actual product. Here I will estimate. Okay? To estimate is to guess. بخمن. I will guess 5.4 and 2.7 is really close to what? 5.4. Let's guess. Is it closer to the 5 or closer to the 6? Huh? Okay, it's closer to the 5 because the 4 comes before the 5. It's in the weak area, so it's closer to 5. And the 2.7, the 7 here is strong, so it is closer to 3. Okay. Now, the estimation product is 5 times 3, which is 15. I want the actual one now, and I want to compare between them. The actual one, 5.4 times 2.7, move the decimal point, multiply them, 7 times 4, 28, 8 I carry up 2, 7 times 5 is 35, plus 2, 37. The other one, 2 times, first I put the 0 under the 8, then 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 5 is 10, 2 decimal place, then the answer is 14.58. We reminded you today of the multiplication by one-digit number and two-digit number, and we discussed how to multiply a decimal number by an integer and two decimal numbers by each other. I gave you an idea about estimating the answer and how to get the actual one. We will continue next time. Study well and good luck. Bye.